It's Friday, it's 1:30 here in Ireland and the UK, and therefore, this is my usual time for Live with Lottie, helping you with your confidence on camera of all sorts, whether it's your presenting, whether it's your setup, and then not me, but I get very, very special guests and all my techie buddies around the world to jump in and give you the help on the tech side of things, because this brain does that when it comes to tech quite often, even though I've got a nerdy husband. So we've got a few people in the room already. Hey to Jason Franco is in the room. Hello, Jason. And Sarah, my gorgeous Sarah Fox. She says she can join for 15 minutes because she's running off to a client. But Sarah, appreciate the fact that you've jumped in here. So let's get on with it, because it's time today to break some rules with my buddy Leland Best of Leland Best Live, who's been doing all sorts of amazing things techie. And he's the person that literally back in the old days, without him, I probably wouldn't have been able to do what I do right now with the tech and the help and the connections that this man has brought for me. So, drum roll, there's the cartoon. Let's now bring him live on stage with me. Oh, and there's another cartoon. And there's the real face that is Leland Best. Hey, Leland.
How are you, Lottie? Nice to see you. Always a pleasure to be in your acquaintance. So how are things over there on that side of fun?
Oh, it's lovely to see you too. And I tell you what, since back in the days of when I first met you, I think it was on Blab, and then we did Fire Talk shows, then we did Smile Time shows. And now we're on a B Live. There's been Facebook Live. There's been all sorts. So we've jumped around many tools over the time here. And that's part of what I'd love for you to chat with today. So some of your tech news, because I've also seen your studio has changed. You've got a...
Yes, it does that all the time. Tonight, I've got a little bit of a video display behind me, which is over my green screen. So it has the ability to produce an effect that's continuous, and I don't have to do anything with it. I'm not actually in a studio. I'm sitting in my backroom office here at my home on the Shiawassee River in Michigan. But it's one of those things that I do to help put an image behind me that I might not be able to present otherwise. So that's what we like to do over here. We get into all that techie geeky stuff over at BCB Live.
Yeah, I think that the techie geek stuff, because I know you've got some exciting news to share, because since you and I last chatted in 2017, you've written a book which is called, I love your name, because you can then have things like the best guide to live stream and video broadcasting. And I love the fact that now you're really focusing on helping people to, as you say, build, work, play with your own live production studio in your own home studio. So, Leland, just for people who don't know you, give us a snapshot of who you are, why you are, what you do, how you help people, and then we'll get in. Then you can show us the new toys, some of your new toys that you've got.
I will, and I always love coming out here in the morning for the upbeat atmosphere that you present here on live streams, Lottie. So thanks so much for having me today. The whole purpose behind the book, which I have a copy of here, this is the hard copy that you could get off Amazon if you were so inclined. It's a 106-page guide in full color. It's a big guide so that people who've never been out there, and me, myself, I've been in broadcasting in and out since I was in high school. I did a couple of years of radio and television. I went into public broadcasting at the cable network in our local area as a producer. I have a license, which is basically expired from back 20, 30 years ago, but I still do video. I was a DJ for a few years back in 2006. I did a lot of work in local facilities out here in Saginaw, Michigan. And then from that, in 2012, when Hangouts came out, I started to really do live video and recorded video. And since then, I've really, when Blab came around in 2015, things exploded. And we met there. And after that, I started BCB Live. So it's basically been my way to broadcast my message out to people. And then I thought, well, why not teach other people how to do it? So the book is presented to help you build an in-home studio. You just go for it. But if you ever need help, I'm here as a consultant and a guide so that I can help you do these types of productions where you get the music, the stage, the animations, the graphics, whatever you want to do to present your brand to your consumer or just your message to your public. So that's what we're out for.
I love It's the way that you can just simply throw in there, oh yeah, we're just out by the river, and then there's like the tech just jumps in, and it's kind of like, oh, I'm trying to do two things at once with typing up things as you're mentioning them, and I'm going, I didn't prepare my agenda properly, so I don't have the typing here. So if you're hearing in the background, I do apologize, folks, but I do have, as we chat today, some of the images about some of the tools that Leland is going to be sharing today. So Robert C. Stern is shouting out here for you, Leland, saying, hey, Leland. And thank you, Sarah, saying Lottie is so upbeat, she makes her guests at ease. Well, I hope so. Is it working, Leland?
You're fantastic, Lottie. I've watched a lot of your live videos, and you were so, gracious to offer me the comments you made before the show, which were that people are actually following me, and you asked me who I follow. You're one of those people, along with some of the folks over at BeLive, like Stephen Healy from the UK, Jeff Adams from the US, and there's so many other people from around the world who are getting involved. We just can't help but make friends with each other. So we've known each other for years now, and we're all just trying to bring more people into the fold and get more people to do this, because it's a way to communicate and get everybody together globally, and it's working out really well.
But I think that one of the difficulties, if we're going to be really, really honest about this, Leland, is that there are not that many people who are making really, really huge numbers money from this. So unless they are the Marie Forleos and the Murray Smiths and the who have, or the James Wedmores, who were there in the YouTube early days, for people coming in now, I think there is an expectation that you can leap in here and get going and make money in no time without actually giving anything to build that tribe. So let's kick off with before we get into the tech, what are your tips for people who are just starting out, Leland?
Well, what it really comes down to is you have to have a purpose behind your broadcast, or you're really just out there. You could go to any Facebook Live and find thousands of people out here who are literally just going live to be with their friends or hang out with their buddies. So if you're out here to perform as a presence, as a business, as an entrepreneur, or whatever that might be, you've got to kind of set a focused goal as to how you want to monetize the traffic that's coming to your video. And that's really what it comes down to is, are you going to promote a product? Are you going to sell someone else's brand? Are you going to bring people onto stage and do interviews and charge people one way or the other, or have sponsors come out and help present your live video to places that maybe you couldn't because you didn't have a budget, but because somebody backs your video and you're reaching the right people, they might get involved with you as well. So there's so many things you really have to consider. I have a list, Lottie, that I can give out to your viewers if they'd like it. It's in PDF form. We'll leave a link in the comment section after we leave, which is 12 ways, at least a dozen ways you can monetize your live stream video. So there are a lot of ways you can use it. It's just a matter of choosing one and then going for it.
Ooh, that would be very exciting. May I share that out both with the Asian speaking professionals in Singapore, and then also with our Ladies Go Live community as well, Leland?
Absolutely. I usually give that out as just a free initiative offer so that people can take a look at some of the opportunities available in live streaming.
Oh, you're lovely. Thank you very much. I think we're building a really lovely little library for all of our professional speakers, which is why I've been doing, and you've seen me so much on screen and pulling in all of these lovely people. I literally was on screen with Leland messaging him last night to say, oh my God, how the heck did I miss you to have here? Your name has been up there. So many people have mentioned, who are you watching? And Leland, you were there for many, many people in the list of, got to see Leland, all the studio, all the tech, what Leland actually does with everything. So let's have a quick chat about how. Right, I've just got my Dropbox, my pop-up backdrop here, but you're able to, as we alluded to at the beginning, able to do what you've got behind you and then a few other exciting things. So why don't you show us some of the fun stuff that you actually help people and advise people on, so that they don't just go live, they're actually doing the pro live look and feel, which takes it up a notch, doesn't it?
It does. And honestly, I don't have much less than or more than what you have right there, Lottie. All I have here is a green screen effect behind me. What you saw was being brought in through color key adjustments in the vMix software that I utilize, which a lot of people don't realize, and I cover in my book, is that even though we can use these live stream websites like BeLive and Lightstream and now stage10.tv, which we'll present in just a moment. These are, and Vidpresso even, that you saw me using in the past. There are things that we can include in those websites, like these softwares that are available, these third-party softwares like vMix, Wirecast, ManyCam. There's a lot of them out there, and you can connect them to this software that we're using on this website and have the ability to do the video background you see behind me. I can also come in with graphic effects as overlays to either replace myself as I did when I first came in. This is a character that I've created in a 3D video software program that I use, along with my own bot, which I created. If you haven't seen him over at Leland,
BCB Live's new online messenger bot. I fill in when
hold on, let me just get there on their own.
Find me out on the web at bcblive.com.
Let me turn her off.
Just want to say.
What was that? Oh, you got her on there full screen? All right, this
hi.
is
Please
Candy.
feel free to leave a short message before you go, and I'll be sure it gets delivered ASAP.
So I just wanted you guys to get a taste of some of the things that you can present on the screen, because, and these are all somewhat automated. And there's some features coming out in the software nowadays. And we're going to present another one that's available for very inexpensive prices that was just released in a new version 1.1, and that's Win Broadcaster. So there's a lot of people that should really take a look at some of these softwares because they do help you not only brand yourself, but they help you come out here and do things that maybe the other person can't do. So it sets you apart in your live stream. And I'm not saying you have to be technically savvy. Some of this stuff can be done pretty well on its own, but you may just want to be a talent. So maybe you just want to connect with somebody like myself, who's a producer / host and comes out here and interviews people. Or you just go ahead and do your own show, create your own content, and then I come with the graphics and do all the overlays while you speak. I could also bring in my lower third, which would be something that would just drop down below me. So I have the ability to bring in video graphics if I'd like as well. Like if I have a promo logo for BCB Live, I can go ahead and bring that up on screen and play that out over top of me. And it'll just continue through. I'm not playing the audio on that, but I could. So we have that ability to come through the entire studio. Whoops, I got to watch my rant there. I have a rant plan. I'm actually looking at doing a broadcast where I'm going to come out for a 2-minute rant in the live streaming processes that, you know, you just mess around and, oh, I really wish it would stop doing that kind of thing, because there are always bugs in the systems. So we have to learn how to avoid the bugs.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it, Leland. There's like Sarah Fox has just commented here that because Sarah's a brilliant supporter. She always like takes quotes like I used to do back in the Blab days, actually takes quotes from people and posts them up. So yay for our supporters. We always love that. Take your live to pro live with backdrops. And she liked your comment, Leland, need a purpose to going live. How will you monetize your presence? So great questions to ask yourself. So Leland, let's have a little look through some of the shows. And by the way, if you're watching, sorry, just before we do, if you're watching in Ladies Go Live or you're watching in Press Play presentations, please be aware that I can't necessarily jump from page to page to page. If you would like to have a comment and have your comment shown up here, like Sarah's just was, then you need to come and watch in the Facebook page, Lottie Hearn TV. You'll find us there. Then we can add your comments and give you a shout out down below here too. So please come say hi. So Leland, you mentioned some of the tools that we can use, like in BeLiveNet. Just changing that. It's very basic. It's very simple. If I paid for the top value in BeLive, I could have had a backdrop behind me and everything. But what you're actually doing is kind of it just takes the step. I just go, well, more than just this, it goes whoo, and through the roof. So presumably you've got a whole mixing desk and all sorts of different things in front of you, have you?
Not really. Honestly, all I have is a personal computer, Lottie. I'm sitting here in front of 2 green screen. Well, I wish I had the graphic in front of me, but maybe I do. Let me do this real quick. I'm going to head over. I think I have the image right behind me here. Shouldn't take but a second. Nope, I don't have the studio. Yes, no, I don't have the studio on here, but this will only take a second. So I'm just going to browse over to one of my image files folders over here on BCB Live, and I'm going to grab somewhat of a representation of a studio, which you usually see me in a lot. And I'm just going to add this as a background instead of the video that you see playing behind me right now. I'm going to bring this in behind me. And this would be what my studio would look like without me, okay? And if I come into the studio, I'm not really in the studio. This is just a picture. But I'm sitting in front of the let's say a PC, and you see a mixing board here on the table, but I actually use a software mixer so that I don't have that extra piece of hardware. I do have the 2 monitors. I have a boom a little different than that one sitting right out in front of me, and a laptop off to the side if I need it, but I'm on my keyboard and mouse most of the time with 2 webcams. I don't have my other webcam connected at the moment, but I could. So I could actually add that input as well and just go over and grab another video camera, which is already connected to my system, and bring that in as a separate feed. And I could even bring in other callers if I wanted to from outside sources, because of the fact that vMix has that opportunity. But I'm going to just zoom over here. You can see now I'm behind myself because I've got myself as an overlay here through the green screen. But this is really my setup. This is my studio. This is all I have. I'm sitting in front of a desk, and that's all it takes to do live video.
Yeah, it's kind of it's almost flabbergasting. You kind of, because it just looks so impressive to see it there. And also, as Jason Franco is saying here, Leland is a very, very talented guy. Great work. I totally agree, Jason. So thank you very much for that. So, Leland, if we don't have vMix, and because lots of people are using BeLive, maybe people want to try something else. What are some of the other tools that you shared with me? And I'll try and bring them up as you mention them. So apologies in advance if I bring the wrong one up. You can tell me.
Nope, there's a few of them. And obviously, I'll be covering a lot of these, and not only in my book when it comes out for the 2018 edition, but I'm also going to start posting some of the stuff on the website as well. One of them in particular that just came out is Stage 10 TV is a website similar to BeLive TV. And that Josh over there in the back end, I can't remember his last name right now, and I apologize, Josh, for doing that. It's a little different pronunciation than I'm accustomed to, but those guys over there have opened this up to anyone with less than 10,000 subscribers on any channel, YouTube, Twitter, doesn't matter where you're at. You can broadcast to as many Facebook pages, groups. I mean, now that the groups are open, that I've heard, everything's available now. You should be able to post to up to 6 or 7 Facebook pages at a time, out to 2 YouTube channels or more of your choice. If you have more, I have like 7 YouTube channels. So for me, it's basically whatever channel I want to broadcast to, and a Periscope, and I believe a Twitch channel as well, all at one time, simulcasts, and it's free. So a lot of people are paying for tools and products that allow them to do that, and multi-stream, like using Restream or switchboard.live, and those are built on platforms accommodating the multi-streaming. But this is something totally free right now. I don't know how long it'll be offered like that, but take advantage of it. Use it. Get your word out there. Use it as an audience builder. It's a good place to be right now.
I've just popped the page up there because when you told me about that this morning, I had heard of it a couple of weeks ago. I think I might have seen one of your posts about it, and I went and had a look. But this morning, I actually went and looked properly. So I actually registered for it. I was able to connect through connecting my Lottie Hearn TV on Facebook, which is also cross-posted already connection through Facebook. And that's something that the BeLive team have worked on as well with Stephen Healy. So you can see right here on my page, there's 4 different Facebooks that it would go live to. I've got a YouTube channel. I couldn't get my Periscope to connect for some reason. I don't know why. But it was really useful, Leland, to be able to go in there and see that there's all these different things that you can do with it.
And it has a lot of stage setups, a lot like BeLive has with the multi-window displays. It can do up to 4 broadcasters at a time, and it can bring in other broadcast remotes like camera phones and such. The videos, playback, and storage of that content is a little still floaty, up in the air kind of stuff. They're still playing around with it. So they are building in the way that the graphics and videos work, and there are areas where you just drag and drop stuff onto the screen, and that's it. So for people who've not the technical savvy type that want to look at input numbers and values and triggers and all that stuff that goes with true live production television, just go over and check this out and see how you can just drag your cameras in, drag your images in, hit the go live button, and then flip a switch and go to 10 places at once. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's great. But one thing there, so we do need they do record your shows so that you can get a playback afterwards, or not?
No, in this case, though, if you're sending a signal out to YouTube, you're probably, and I believe they are sending the signal out at 1080p, so you should be able to broadcast up to that level, but you would need the proper upload speed bandwidth on your location so that the signal you send out is at that setting. Otherwise, just go with 720p, put it on YouTube, and you'll have a really good archive over there.
Because Facebook is all 720p right now anyway, until they upgrade things. But at least you would be able to get So it's worth then setting up the YouTube and setting up the connection so you do go live to more than one place at a time.
The big thing, Lottie, with Facebook Live is it's a little tricky. You can, if you're capable of knowing where to get into the back end of Facebook and pull down the 720 video, it will play back at 720. But if you try to download the version, they were allowing the 720 high defs now, I believe. Is that correct? I haven't downloaded a video off Facebook in about 30 days. So I believe they did upgrade to that level. And they're looking at 1080p as well in the future. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Okay, Leland. So then, what's the next tool that you wanted to? And I'll see if again, hopefully, I'm bringing up the right image for you.
I've got two, and I'll make them really quick. But I think the two best ones for the bang, especially bang for the buck, are Win Broadcaster, which is let's put a slash in there. Win Broadcaster / Just Broadcaster. So there is a Windows version and a Mac version of this software available. The Mac came out a couple of years ago. This one just recently came out with a 1.1 version. You're talking about pretty much the same level of content availability that's in BeLive, where you can bring in, and he's looking at comments in the very future, but you can do the polling with the emojis. You can bring in lower thirds. You can do backdrops. You can bring in videos. You can do a lot with it, and I will be reviewing this one in its full entirety this week, probably coming up. It's really inexpensive. 2 years, $50. It's $25 a year to have this software. You install it on your platform. You use it right from your desktop. But it's so click and drop type stuff. Very simple to use. The interface is very intuitive. And the other one would probably be one that I didn't mention to you, Lottie, but I'm going to bring it up anyway, which is called SparkleCam. And SparkleCam is a software that was recently announced. I saw it come through a VidPresso Facebook group the other day. It's a virtual camera software, and that's all it is. It's very, I could probably show the screen on how it looks real quick, but it'll just take me a second to fire it up. But if you go over to SparkleCam, just Google that. It's a software product that's has various levels of availability, but it allows you to play through Canon cameras, Nikon cameras, your own webcam. You can play videos through it. You can add effects to it. You can do graphic overlays, and it's just this little window box that goes on your desktop, monitor, and you can do all kinds of really cool things with it on all kinds of different websites. So it's really just a matter, and that one's depends on what you go with, anywhere from $39 and up to, I think, $199, but it's a one-time purchase, and then you can just use it at your heart's content.
And with the SparkleCam there, Leland, because if you're going live through your Nikon or your actual video camera, presumably then you can record what you're presenting onto the camera anyway if you need to.
Be able to in most cases nowadays, yes, and it really depends on what you're using. In my case, I'm typically in an in-house studio, so I use webcams primarily, and I have a couple of them. That's what you saw me running, which were 1080p webcams. They work just as well. These are high quality, top-notch lenses that are used in these cameras. It's really just a matter of your budget. If you want to spend $700 for a DSLR or go as high as $1,500 for a full-blown video camera that is fully digital or IP connected through all the new methods that you're using now, there's a lot of ways that we can go, and the prices just go on and on from there, Lottie.
Yeah, and Leland, then just very quickly before we go on to the next tool that we're chatting about, webcams. I'm on the Microsoft HD webcam, which actually has a tripod mount on the bottom of it, which I've always loved, the LifeCam. But the only problem is when I go up to 1080p, no matter which laptop I put it on, because it takes up, it's about, oh gosh, when I first started. So this is probably 2010, 2011, I got this from a great mate of mine here. So it crashes as soon as I go up to 1080p. So you need a lot of memory. Is there any other camera that might be better than the Microsoft LifeCam?
Yeah, I'm usually a Logitech guy right now because Logitech did come out this last year with the kind of the predecessor of the 920C, which was a workhorse. It was a 4-year progressive build that they worked on for a while, and they've just replaced it with the 922 Pro Cam, which is about $99 right now. That camera is capable of any of the resolutions, but it also has built-in hardware-coded green screen effects in a sense where you can replace your background with black, so that if you're doing game overlays, or, you know, some people are still streaming games and making money as well. So there's lots of things that you can use them for. I have one on a tripod, the one I showed you earlier, and I can click over to that again real quick. But there's so many things. I would say Logitech is the best place to go, because honestly, there's other cameras you can get there for like $39 that still do 720p. The C615 and I believe the C300 series, and up anything in that range goes from $39 to $99 and then up.
So the C615 or the C300 series.
Yeah, go to Logitech.com and look on their webcam page, and you'll find about 12 different kinds of webcams that you can get.
Okay, but I think, Leland, that's often the problem. Is like I've gone and had a look to try and see if I needed to replace this, and you almost get overwhelmed with so much there if you don't know about the tech. That it was really nice just to have that one camera that you go, yeah, that's a great one for 1080p quality.
This is the important thing, is lighting. It doesn't really matter what camera you have. You could have a $39 budget camera that is at least 360 or 720p, and because standard definition television is 480p. Okay, we always used to be fine with 480p television. Everybody sat there and watched it and loved it, but everybody this high def seems to be a thing. But on live video on the internet, we're still working with the bandwidth requirements, and we're still working with the new softwares. So things are still buggy. It still breaks every now and then. So don't go spending thousands and thousands of dollars unless you're connected on a high-speed internet channel so that you can pump lots of signal through. If you only have a 5 to 10 meg internet signal, spend $75 for an internet camera and put a PC together, which I'm now building for people on demand, basically budget builds so that people can have a live stream machine. Just let me know, and we can get a process put together to put a machine in place, and it could be $1,000.
That's what we need. Hey, just before we carry on with the tools, I've got a question here from Robert Stern, Leland. Let me just now my mouse doesn't want to play.
Oh.
Always the way. There we go. Stick it on the slippery thing. Robert's asking, why do you feel so many people are still holding back on using live for business, Leland?
Well, honestly, I think
do you want to put one of your backdrops back again?
Oh,
you're
yeah.
on black now.
Let's put my movie back there again, because I'll bring that in this way. I'll come back up in just a second. There we go. And that was all automated. What just took place, I clicked one button and everything did its transitional effect. It brought me back on. It brought the lower thirds back on. So those are the bonuses of having the more expensive software. But for me, I think a lot of people are just, I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to look at my audience. I don't want to deal with my customer. And that's really what business should be considering. Is this isn't about building another commercial branded channel on doing commercialized commercials. I mean, that's not what it is. It's about connecting with the people you're selling your product to, getting to know them, getting them to come back because they like you as a person and get to know you as an individual who has a business owner, someone who has a family, someone who has the same struggles that we do and talks about them and why they got into business and what they provide as a service and what pain point they help provide for. So that's what I hope the businesses really start to see as a starting point.
Yeah, I think it is. That's why I think there's such humanity within our live stream community, because we are all just normal people, and like we said at the very beginning, yes, there's people we're doing good, we're doing all right doing this here, but people can't expect to come in and make a fortune like any of the big names that you see out there straight away. It takes the time, and you've got to build up that community and build up those connections. But hey, no better place than to come in and invite people onto your shows or appear on their shows, and do like Sarah and Robert and Jason are doing by commenting down in the live show to help people out. If we mention, like when Leland mentioned the Logitech camera, if somebody had said, here's the camera, and put a link in there, something like that is so helpful when you are solo producing, like I am here, trying to do 2 different laptops, look at 3 different Facebook pages, and comment on people's comments. It makes it tough, Leland, doesn't it?
That is why we're going to revert to these tools, so that we can save some of that extra effort. And I know a lot of the folks like yourself really appreciate the ones that are doing all the background work, like myself and Stephen Healy, the ones that dig deep into the process, because this stuff changes so fast, people. You have to remember, just because you do one thing one way one week, it might suddenly go away. We watched 4 or 5 websites just disappear, and a lot of people
If we think Meerkat, Meerkat's gone. So there was Periscope, there was Meerkat, there was what was the other one that was like Periscope and Meerkat?
There's so many. There's Huzzah. There was Smile Time. There was Go Live With. There was even, and honestly, Vidpresso is now converting back to an enterprise system. So it's going to be an ever evolving process until.
Okay. Sorry. Now, can you repeat that, Leland? Because we've been talking about Vidpresso and we've been chatting about it at Ladies Go Live, and we were talking about the lovely sale button that they had. So say that again. What's happening to Vidpresso? And then also thinking about the sale buttons. Tell us what you've been up to.
Well, I wish I could have made NAB 2018, which is the National Association of Broadcasters. That's usually the Vegas event that everyone goes to. Vidpresso was there. I was involved as a community manager since September of last year. We were building out a promotional effort to come to the grassroots, the public sector of business, and because they're a network television broadcasting platform. And they decided to get me on board to be their community manager for Facebook. So we did that process, but their scope was a little different than most of the other platforms. It was much higher end. And we saw a window of opportunity, but what ended up happening in the end was the live sales process looked like it could be something people could use. And then the bots thing happened over at Facebook. And that was how everything was somewhat integrated, was through the Facebook bot. So it kind of deterred the process. And looking back at what could happen with Vidpresso, they decided they'd be better off in the enterprise stage. So that's where they're going to continue to focus, which is network television. So I don't expect to see a lot of abilities there, but we've found solutions otherwise. And we've been working with the bots ourselves recently. And I know you just had Redding on here the other day working with bots, and she's a brilliant bot builder. She probably builds them better than anyone. And I myself have just been playing with Chatfuel, and I've found ways that we can do live sales through these bots as well. So hooray for us, I think, as live streamers, that we can find alternate methods and ways that we can just do this if we use the right tools. So
you're actually creating live sales bots for people that people will be able to pay you up for to actually help us with our sales, Leland.
It's not that difficult to build, honestly, Lottie. I think a lot of people with any
Don't
kind
tell
of
us. You can't charge for so much when you tell us, Leland.
I get it. I'm not going to give it all away. I never would. But the fact of the matter is, I hope those that want to just go push out on their own and discover for themselves and take the leap and get involved and try to build their own thing. I love to watch people create stuff. So if they want to go out and do it themselves, more power to them.
Yeah, and that's what I love. I know you're a grandpa, and I know you love spending time with your grandchildren. I know you love helping people and teaching people. So thank you for that comment there, Leland. And people can find out all about that at bcblive.com. Yeah.
Yes, they can. And the site is continuously growing. I'm doing a lot of work on building out more article data on that site as well. So you'll be able to catch all my live streams out there, hopefully in the near future, because I'm setting up all the pages for broadcasting to YouTube and all the other social channels out there. You had a bunch of stuff for some websites as well that we didn't talk about, Lottie, and I know you're running out of time here, but
if you've still got time, we've got time. So let's have a look at some of the other ones. Just before we do, quick comment that I clicked up by accident earlier from Jason. I don't agree. I agree with don't spend too much money. It's good to keep in mind that you can also just create a video to edit for later. Repurposing, folks, and then build up to go live. Actually, that's a good point. People always think you have to go live right from the start. But what I'm coaching people now, Leland, is focusing on is still the confidence on camera, but it's actually thinking from the likes of Roy and April at NetFriending team. Roy talks about TV 2.0. I've always been talking about this style of presenting is like lifestyle TV that I used to be involved in myself. So now I'm teaching people lifestyle presenting. So it's lifestyle presenting, which is simply the natural fun that all of us do here anyway, isn't it?
I agree. And it's more about the fun aspect that's different from, I can sit down and watch TV anytime I want. I can sit down and watch, I don't watch the news or anything like that. I'm more of that lifestyle channel. Like you said, we'll watch the building channel, the home network stuff and all those kind of cooking channels or whatever.
He's a plumber as well, folks. He's done so many different things in his life. He's got online sales. He does furniture. He does all sorts. So it's no wonder he likes his lifestyle shows, Leland.
It's just one of those things. And I don't want my broadcasts to be another commercialized television broadcast. I want it to be something that connects to people. And I want it to be something more real, like I'm sitting in the room with them, talking with them at a table and sharing a coffee or whatever. That's really what it was intended to bring.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And Abdul here is saying, absolutely, you are right. So thank you very much for that, Abdul. Hey, Leland, let's get back onto one of the other things that you mentioned before was which one's this one?
That's Lightstream.
That's Lightstream, yeah.
Yes, and I read Lightstream.
You can do all those 4 different things.
Absolutely. Stu Grubbs over at Lightstream is a fantastic gentleman. He's created this with his team of engineers. They've been at it for a couple of years now, and it's still a free platform. Absolutely free. Don't have to pay a dime. It has probably more capabilities than any of the other platforms out here, except for the ability to simulcast to more than one place at a time. But you can go to YouTube, you can go to Facebook, you can go to Twitch, Mixer as well. So this is built for the gaming community, but the overlay capabilities, video playback, ability to bring on guests like we do here on VLive or on vMix is all there. The graphics overlays, you name it. You can build anything you want and save projects so that you can bring them back up for later use. One of the best ones out there. I rate them fully in my book as #1 as a live streaming website. So go take a look. Make sure you check it out.
Great. And then the next one that we haven't mentioned yet, let's bring up this one here and show you stream.me. Oh, let me remove that one. Stream.me. That's the this is the back end when you get in there again. Tell us a bit about stream.me.
Now, Stream.me has been around a little while, and this isn't to be confused with Stream Me Up, I believe, was one of them that was out for a while, and it turned into a music platform. But this one is not connected to Facebook or YouTube. It's its own broadcasting platform, similar to Twitch. Now, Twitch has taken on a lot of stuff, too, as well. So if you like to play games or just broadcast, go check out what's happening with Twitch and Amazon. There's a whole lot of things happening there as well. But Stream Me is like that. You can broadcast, you can brand it, you can embed it in your website. So this gives you a platform that you can also, with the way they have it set up, is build a monetization model for certain content. So you could have tip jars, you can have people donating for specific things that you're building on the site or whatever you want to create. There's a lot of creative capabilities here. So let your mind run wild. It is another site that's kind of built toward gamers, but when we're thinking about live streaming as a whole, we need to kind of look at it all and absorb it and say what fits us best. So if you're somebody that's into just broadcasting, this will work for you. You don't have to pay anything extra. You just go over there. It's a free site. You can use all the features on it, brand it to yourself, and it can be something to help promote your business as well. It's just you'll have to share the content, and they do have the videos stored for a period of, I believe it's 45 days. And that way you can download the video. So you can create a high-def video here on StreamMe and get the download from your production. Now, if you want the fancy stuff, you're going to have to use a third-party software like I'm doing here with vMix or what have you. Because if you want to stream through StreamMe, you can get to it through RTMP as well. And that's where we're not here to talk about that stuff today, though.
Don't get us too much in the techie stuff. Let me bring the next one up here for you, Leland. This is... Now, it's interesting. I've been hearing some news about Periscope, people saying, don't know how long Periscope's going to be around for. What have you heard about this, Leland, or have you heard anything?
That I know, and honestly, I'm not sure what the story is behind Periscope anymore. I don't broadcast to it a lot because of one big problem that they've created for themselves, and that is they've set a different base format for the size of the video that goes out of Periscope, which is an odd scale compared to, like we always talk about 720p and 1080p. Periscope has like a 582p. Okay, it's one of those. I'm just throwing a number out there because it's an odd set. And when we broadcast in a multi-stream, we have to do, and I'm going to get technical for just a second, we're going to have to do what's called a transcoding of the data because we have to send it in a different format to Periscope. So we use places like Restream or Switchboard to have that done on the cloud, and that way we don't have to think about it. But if we try to do that from our own broadcasting stations, then it gets a little tricky. That's why Periscope Producer was a website approach through the back end, but it's a little miscombobulated. They really need to get things right over there on Periscope. Otherwise, it's just a mobile thing. Go with the mobile and you're good to go.
And I think when you like that's my page there. And you're right, Leland. It's one of those things that I always think I should be jumping on there before I do a show here, just to say, hey, going to be doing a live show on Facebook, on Lottie Hearn TV. And I know that a lot of people do that really well. And we've got the likes of the wonderful Joanne Pham of Perry Girls, who have created phenomenal communities. But then the downside also, Leland, is a story from Kathy Nolan yesterday about bullying that happened on Periscope in early days. And what's so pleased about these days is we've got so much more of a supportive community that are here with us on Facebook Lives and on other tools that you have there. Absolutely. So what's the next one I've got here? Just in case people haven't seen it, actually, folks, I'm just going to throw up the Be Live page here quickly. We've spoken about this quite often, but that's where you can find the Be Live. It's BeLive.tv. And Stephen Healy actually did a whole show about it, so we're not going to talk about that one today. But there was one more. What am I missing here, Leland?
I don't remember. We had so much.
Ustream, was it you? Well, we spoke about Ustream. No, have we spoken about Ustream yet?
We were going to talk about Ustream. I mentioned earlier that Ustream is a site that I can broadcast to. I have it set up. It's a free account. And the problem with the Ustream as a broadcaster, this is an IBM platform, by the way. It's IBM Cloud. And recently, just to throw this in there, another site I used to stream to was Daily Motion, which is the French version of YouTube. But Ustream used to be something connected to Facebook back in the day. It's a CDN, which is a content delivery network system that allows people to pay at an enterprise level to broadcast to their platform and put it pretty much anywhere they want from there. They could go to network television sites. They could use that platform storage area, or their VOD, which is video on demand, to put their content wherever they want. But to use it as just a free broadcast, you can create an account. You can use the site to send the signal to, but there's no recording. So you could put a presence on Ustream and your live would be presented, but it's not really anything now unless you're an enterprise client that you could get involved with. So we brought that up early and we weren't sure whether we were going to talk about it.
Yeah, brilliant. And then Leland, let's wrap up with sharing a little bit more about what you're doing, because I love. Let me just show your photo here. This is one of my favorite images. Get rid of that one. Bring in this one. I love your quote on Facebook, the break some rules, with your cartoon there. What rules are you breaking right now, Leland?
Well, I think for me, it was really just a matter of how are we going to reach out to customers and businesses and get them to understand how this can really work to help them and be original at the same time. I don't want to see people just out there creating commercials and trying to brand content like we've been doing for the last 20 years as marketers, in a sense. I just think that the plane needs to change a little bit. This whole landscape needs to deteriorate away from that commercialized branding and go to something that we personalize our brand and make it more something that people can connect to. And I think that's where people that don't have an idea where to start in business are going to realize that it's the relationships that matter. So get that relationship started early and then decide how you're going to work that relationship into a business. Love it, love it, love it.
It's one of those things that you just go, oh, sorry, I'm putting just me on screen there. Don't want to be me on screen. I want Leland and his breaking rules over there as well. Yeah, it's funny because I'm thinking and writing as you're chatting the sound bites that I could be able to use in the video montage that I told you for the Singapore speakers. And just go, we don't want to see the commercialization. It's the personalized brand, people that you connect to. And talking again, because you mentioned that before, that it's not about the commercial side. It's creating that personal brand, but that's something that people want to connect with and listen to. And then finding out how you can do that monetization without spending a fortune. So that's kind of like a nugget wrap up of what we've had here from Leland. And Abdul is giving you a thumbs up there. Thank you very much, Abdul. So Leland, just before we go, please jump back on, let people know where they can find your book, that came out at the end last year, where people can connect with you, and also anything else that you just want to tell us about today, what you're working on right now.
Sure thing. And if anything, you can find me out here on Facebook at Leland Best Live. Pretty much if you Google me at Leland Best, you're going to find me anywhere I'm available. That's pretty much my brand out there at Leland Best Live. bcblive.com is the website that I run. It's kind of a portal into the live streaming communities and all the software, hardware, you name it, it's available there. And I will be putting on my review articles of those websites, of the softwares, and throw in some tips and tricks so that people can help build that studio from the ground up and get to know what they want to put out as a message, and maybe some way down the road make that message worth something. So it's really just a matter of getting together, connecting. Give me a call. Everything's there. I'm pretty easy to find. So if you don't, just see me on a live video. Pop in and say hi.
He is very easy to find, folks. Very, very easy to find. The wonderful Leland Best. And the reason we're jumping in, not for the full hour today, but appreciate your time, Leland, is because, as I said, I grabbed him last night. So I super duper appreciate. And are you seeing the grandkids this weekend? You doing anything fun?
He's only a couple miles down the road from me. We just took my daughter took a wonderful picture of us sitting at the river with the dog the other day because the ducks are finally coming in and we're able to go back out to the river's edge and feed them. So yeah, it's going to get pretty exciting as spring rolls in.
Oh, brilliant. And a bit like me, the secrets that we share when you become buddies on live stream. Leland, remember last time when you lifted up your green screen and you had all of your secondhand furniture and the things that you were in the auction house and everything?
Back there. It's still back there like that. This is the studio, folks. It's not very big. There's not much here. It's just me and a green screen.
Oh, I love it. I'm not going to even dare lift up my backdrop today because there's just so much stuff with the potential of having to move house, try to get to Singapore, get to Galway, get all over the place. But I really appreciate it. Actually, great tip that I heard from a fellow speaker the other day. She said, I hadn't heard this one before because I know yours is a cloth. Yours is a proper green screen cloth. Mine's a proper expensive-y pop-up screen that's double-sided.
I want to get one.
Shower curtain. And I was like...
I went to Walmart the first time. I bought my carton in the curtain section at Walmart. I paid like $9 for the first one I owned. So it doesn't really matter. It can be any color. Don't forget that green screen is just a term that was coined because the screens that started were green. You can use blue. You can use any solid color that someone might not wear on the show. And that's basically blue, bright blue, like you see in the background for me right now, is another color that's used a lot in the screen effects. So it doesn't really matter. You can filter out any color you want with the software. It's just about having the right software.
And that's all done through the software, but also you do have to be, my photographer friend was saying to me, you do have to still be careful with the lighting. So just very quickly, Leland, how many lights, because I know you said you had that light when you showed the other camera, how many lights do you have? So, and where do you set those up if you're going to do some green screen?
You want 3 lights, and that is the key light, the fill light, and the backlight. And the key light is the primary target focus. You have a camera out in front of your host or whoever's on camera. That key light comes in at about a 45-degree angle from the camera, and that's going to be your brightest light. It's usually, I'm not going to throw out numbers, but honestly, you can go out and get LED lights from Home Depot now that do a really good job. 5500K lighting is what you're usually going to want to have. The other light, which is the fill light, comes in from the other direction at about 60 degrees, and that light is to soften the hard light that's created by the key light because you're going to have the brightest. So you want to soften the other side with the fill light. And then the backlight is what separates the green screen from the back of the head. Basically, you want to put a little crown over the back of the head here. So I have some LED strips above me. I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was sweating so bad. It's
all right. It's all right. The lower third covered it up. You're all right, Leland.
Live stream. Remember that, folks. I woke up this morning, threw on a shirt, and went live with Lottie today. So with regards to that backlight, that's the softest light. That's just there to put a contrast between you and the effect you're trying to create behind you. But that light works just as well. And something you might want to do, like in your case, Lottie, if you have a color screen behind you that has like a drop-down curtain, it doesn't hurt to use that backlight as a bounce-off effect from the curtain, and that kind of gives you that. You remember that stage like vaudeville look where you got the big red curtains and the lights coming in on either side? That kind of gives you that effect, and it's something that's cinematic. Yes, somewhere along.
It's the cinematic feel, but it's interesting though, because for many photographers, and actually one of my great mates who came on my show last year, who sadly passed away a few months after he was on the show, he said, as a professional photographer, would you tell video people to stop blooming lighting the backdrop? You know, where you get the glow on the back and they get the halo kind of behind their bodies. Because he said, it drives us mad as photographers because we never light a backdrop. The only reason you have light between you and the backdrop is to stop shadows bouncing. If I was close up to the backdrop and I had a bright light on, we just wanted to stop these shadows from appearing on the screen.
And what will happen here in a green screen effect, and this I can show you what can happen in a breakdown. Whoops, I want to make sure I don't lose you here. I'm just playing with my effects. If I focus on my color key filters, you see what I'm doing here is I'm actually taking that curtain and I'm filtering it out by the amount, so I can get fuzzy effects. If I don't have the proper lighting, the best I might be able to do is this. So the to having bright light, because then the software, the filters through the camera are able to filter that out completely to black, because if the lighting's not there, you might only get this, and that's the important part in any broadcast is lighting and sound. It's really what we're looking for.
And then Leland, one other quick question before we go. Actually, let me put you side by side. I can see when you're in full screen, you've kind of got a black bar which goes underneath. And when you've got the blue, your shoulder kind of can disappear into it. Is that so you can have text pop-ups popping there? What's that all about?
No, what that is the way I've had to cut the screen back, because I have features inside of the, let me go back to where I'm at here. If I just go ahead and turn off my color key altogether, you can see where I've squared myself out. If you have me full screen on here.
Yeah, you're all full screen.
I've basically cut things out of here where I have the ability, and I'll show you, I can open this up and show you the rest of my room, but there's no screen.
I see, but that's, I get it, yeah.
It cuts off my shoulder, that fills in the black automatically, and then I have to filter out the green screen to get the rest of the black, and that's basically how that works. So now when I turn my color key back up.
It's nice though, Leland, because if you were doing a webinar or an online training, that's where you could have text popping up and you know it's going to be solid there and it's all going to work there. That's quite a nice thing to know. And just before we finish up, Jason's saying, I love lighting. Thank you very much, Jason. We've got to have our nice lighting. I'm loving my ring light. And I know Sarah Fox has been out and bought a ring light as well recently. And Abdul is saying, looking good. Yes. Nice curtain. Gotta get the good curtains in there, guys. Well, Leland, thank you so much. And just before we go, could you put a backdrop and your lower third on for me?
That's right.
Big wave shout out to the speakers of Asia, speakers of Singapore, which I will then be able to put it to the end of the video in the montage. Would be brilliant with just you on screen.
Here, and there we go. How's that? Is that good?
Yeah, give a big wave.
Can you see me? Oh, wait. Let me do this. Wait, see, I'm going to cut off my hands. I got to go like this.
You can do them there. You can do them behind your head. Yay!
How's that? Like that? Is that good?
Brilliant. I love it. Thank you very much. And Leland, just as a soundbite, if leaving as you are right now, leave the lower third again there. Just sit up a little bit so that you're above the lower third. Can you just do a very quick 10-second soundbite? Oh, I see it cuts your head off there as well. 10-second soundbite for professional speakers. If there was one piece of tech you would say they need, what would it be?
For a professional speaker, one piece of tech to come together with live streaming, it depends on whether you want to be mobile or in a studio. Honestly, it's just get that camera connected to a computer or get a device, get a mobile device and put it on a stand. Use your phone, for gosh sakes. Just connect your phone to Facebook, go live, figure out what it takes. It's a couple of button pushes and you're talking to people, but just get on camera. Nobody's going to care what you look like. Nobody's going to care whether you mess things up, because we do it all the time. So don't think about being some network producer. Just get out there and have some fun. Build your brand if you feel like it, but maybe just get to meet some people first and get to know what these people doing live streaming are all about, and then start talking business and go from there.
Love it, love it, love it. Go live, then business, chat to people, make buddies, and business later. And see comments like this from Abdul. Thank you both for sharing much with us. May you have more happy life. Comments like that always make your Friday. So Leland, thank you so much. As ever, big virtual hugs to you. And I'll send and I'll direct message you about that PDF reminder that you promised we could share out.
I'm going to put the link in the. I can tell you what it is. Well, I'll give it to you for sure. I'll leave the link right in the chat of this broadcast, and you'll find it.
That'd be brilliant. So anybody who's been watching, and if you haven't been watching Live with Lottie on Lottie Hearn TV, then apologies. I will get back and get through your comments over the next couple of days, in between packing and getting set to fly off to Singapore. Can't wait to be there. And Leland, look forward to chatting to you. Thank you, as always, for all your tech know-how. And you can find him at BCB Live. Leland Best brings the best guides to live stream video broadcasting. Get the book on Amazon, folks. And help Leland help you build, work, and play with your live streams.
Build your best live. It's all about building your best live.
Build your best live. I love it. BCB Live and build your best live. Go for it, folks. That's how you go live, grow live, and pro live with Leland and me, Lottie. Thanks for joining us on Live with Lottie show today. See you soon.
Take care.
If I can get the mouse moving again. See, tech. It always happens. There's me going, that was quite a quick closeout for me. But okay, see you soon, folks.